Clarke handles beverage for a few of our restaurants, primarily wine, but he's dabbling in cocktails, and he nails that too, which is very rare because usually wine people are wine people and cocktail people are cocktail people. Clarke hits it, so I knew it was a must to bring him today when it came to the wine and the cocktail. So Clarke Anderson.
It's important to have a super strong grasp of the classics. The first thing I'm going to make is an improved old fashioned. I am a huge opponent of putting cherry in an old fashioned. I like a nice clean old fashioned. So it starts with 3 types of bitters. The most important and like structural element to the cocktail is the Angostura bitters. So classic bitters, these guys really only make the one product, and it's important to get a lot. So 5 dashes is what I do of Angostura. And then orange, which will give it some florality, so I do 2 of those. And then this is one that is a little bit polarizing. We use Peychaud's in ours. It gives it a little bit of a Nice character. It's the classic bitters in a Sazerac, and we just use 2 of those to give it a little more aromatics. And then an old fashioned has sugar. Some people use white sugar, some use brown, some use honey, just depends. I like Demerara sugar, so it's like an unprocessed sugar. We do a 2-to-1 sugar to water to make the syrup, and then we do just a 1/4 ounce. So because it's a stronger, more viscous syrup, you don't have to use that whole 1/2 ounce, you just use a 1/4. My perfect old fashioned is 1 ounce of rye whiskey. I like Rittenhouse because it's bonded, 100 proof, and 1 ounce of bourbon whiskey. So I am a sucker for wheated whiskey. I just discovered a couple years ago W.L. Weller. This actually comes from the same stills that the Van Winkle product comes from, and it's using a similar mash bill. So this is known as a wheater. It actually says on this label the original wheated whiskey. It's bottled at 90 proof, and God, it's a great value. So 1/2 rye, 1/2 bourbon, 3 bitters, sugar, and then we're going to stir with ice. The 2 most important ingredients in any cocktail are air and water. In a stirred cocktail, the idea is to not have any air and to get the water in at just the right ratio to the chilling time. With big cubes, we would be talking about 60 rotations. These cubes here are going to melt a little faster. So then a nice julep strainer. And then in lieu of the cherry, which most people were raised on, as the cherry in an old fashioned, some people even muddle it, we just do a lemon and an orange peel, and we express them. So in this peel, there's lots of oil, and we want to make sure we get that on the glass. Wipe it a little bit, and just make sure you get all that orange and lemon oil, and then leave those down in there. And that gives you a nice clean old fashioned. There you go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Try it.
And this is like what sommeliers, what like the hipster crowd is drinking. This is a Huaco Old Fashion. So we take it to Mexico with some chocolate and mole bitters. You get a little bit of spice in that, so Bitter Truth. They're actually a German company making a great bitters there. And then I do 2 dashes of orange just to give it a little more florality. And then the 1/4 of Demerara. You can use agave in this too. And then Del Maguey, a wonderful spirits producer from Mexico. 2 ounces of mezcal. This one is moderately smoky. I don't like a mezcal for this drink with too much smoke. So this gives you a little bit lighter cocktail. The mezcal is not aged in any wood, so it gives you those nice kind of lighter flavors. A good summertime alternative. Okay. And then the same garnish, lemon and orange. All right, there you go, Oaxaca Old Fashion. All right, so that's a kind of simple, improved version of whiskey on the rocks, just a little sugar, a little bitters. The next drink I want to make is a Negroni. I'm going to a bar and I want to know how I'm going to be treated. I'll order a Negroni and then see how they make it. See the technique, see the ingredients that they choose without asking me what vermouth or gin I want, and then just kind of see the execution, and it's kind of my barometer on what to expect for the rest of the meal. A traditional Negroni is 1-1-1, gin, vermouth, and Campari. So we're going to start with St. George Terroir Gin. This is one of their drier styles of gin from St. George.
One of my favorite gins.
Yeah, when I say dry, I mean like London dry. There are tons of American gins out there that are sweeter, they have less juniper, they have less botanicals, and we kind of refer to these as wetter style gins. So dry versus wet. Campari. And then I like Punti Mace. Punti Mace is made by Carpano. It's a drier style of red vermouth. It gives me a little more bitterness to play with the Campari and doesn't sweeten up the cocktail at all. It's all actually really affordable option, and yeah, like it a lot. It's coming.
All of a sudden, mixologists just come out of the woodwork for some reason. So it took many years until Hendrix came out and until I tried it again and became a fan.
Negroni is made with a flamed orange. So all that oil we were talking about getting on the old fashioned, we're going to ignite it to give the Negroni a little bit more of a, it's going to highlight the bitterness of it. So you want to heat up the orange to get that oil like right at the top, and then nice and flamey there. All right, that's your traditional Negroni with terroir. This is a cocktail that I love to serve for people who want something, but they don't really know what they want, and maybe they have a bottle of Campari in their cabinet, but they don't know what to use it for, and they have vermouth that somebody gave them years ago that's probably been oxidized, but you know it's still a little drinkable. This is an easy one to build right in the glass, and it's called an honest mistake. The name in Italian is Sabbiliano, which means mistake. So the idea is we made a Negroni, but we left the gin out. So we put the vermouth, which is about 20% alcohol, right? So not too stout. And then the Campari, which is up there around 40% alcohol. So that's going to be the major structure of our cocktail. And then the part that I like the best is easy, breezy Prosecco on top. So we left the gin out and we topped it with Prosecco. It makes it really easy to drink, makes it longer in the glass, and it's a crowd pleaser. We do it every winter. We actually put a little pomegranate seeds on top, and we call it an honest mistake.